Hey, Laura, how you doing?
Hi, Colin. I'm tired.
Yeah. Are you in Charles's office? Is that his microphone?
No,
No,
this
that's
is
your
my
microphone. Oh, man, I can
yeah.
only see it in the corner of the screen. It's just been so long since I've heard your
I know.
audio in this kind of fidelity. Yeah, I'm also pretty sleepy.
Yeah, you're usually hearing me through AirPods in a car.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Been how we've been doing that recently.
When I have to filter out the background noise, I basically just end up having to reconstruct your voice from the ground up. There's just so much wheels on asphalt. I hate to tell you this, but I've given an AI permission to recreate your voice. So you exist out there on the internet. When the Matrix happens, you're going to be like the main bad guy.
Oh, wow. Dope.
Yeah, sorry
Dope,
about
I guess.
that.
I mean,
I guess.
At least this is on a recording, so someone will be able to find that information.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm also sleepy. I don't know, man. I've been really tired these last few days. I've been trying to nap every day, and it gets interrupted every day. And I'm just kind of like cranky and headachy. Yeah. And I wish someone would put me to bed, like I'm sure you just did your daughter.
I did. It was it was a decent bedtime. She... gosh, okay, how am I doing? She was so good at going to bed, and bedtime was always the best, and it was so cute, and then all of a sudden it was like the worst, and she hated it, and she would scream and kick and be upset, and we were, I don't know, it's been a whole thing. So we are moving back into the like better bedtimes, which is huge. Because really, like, when bedtime sucks, it's just so draining, and then you come downstairs after bedtime, and you're like, I literally don't want to do anything at all, and then you just go to bed. But so bedtime is getting better, which is good, but she has been sick with various things just constantly because she's in daycare now. And so that's like, they say they get 1 to 2 sinus infections a month, which is insane. And so she had like such a bad sinus infection that she had literal shit coming out of her eyes. Like it was like oozing out of her eyeballs. And so we had to put her on antibiotics because it was really bad. She was like super congested all over the place. And now we just finished the antibiotics for that like last Thursday. So it hasn't even been a week. And now she has really terrible swimmer's ear, which is basically like a middle ear infection or an outer ear infection. I don't know what the fuck.
Cool.
And so she had literal shit coming out of her ears the other morning. So... and she just has snot all the time. So it's really just like the poor kid is just...
You're just in damage control.
Yeah. So now we have her on... So she has so much stuff in her ear. I took her to urgent care yesterday morning because she woke up yesterday with everything coming out. And I sent a picture of it to Charles and he was like, you need to get her evaluated right now. And like normally when I send her a picture of something to Charles, he's just like, oh, it's probably fine, whatever. And I was like, oh my God, he said urgent care. But she's got so much like discharge in her ear that they couldn't see the eardrum. So they didn't know, like they couldn't really tell if it was perforated or not. But they said that because the discharge wasn't bloody, that it wasn't perforated, likely, which is good. But they can't give her eardrops because apparently if eardrops get into a perforated eardrum, that's bad. So they had to give her antibiotic eye drops that we've been putting in her ear. Apparently that's better. Something about the pH.
Yeah. Just at this point, she's so sick that all the head holes are interchangeable.
Yeah, that's kind of how it feels.
One might as well be the other. Who actually cares? I mean, 1 to 2 sinus infections a month. I mean, it sounds like if her ears are counting as sinuses, and now she's up to 3 and 4. I don't know. It's just I also had a lot of ear infections as a kid.
Same.
That did actually lead me to rupture my eardrum with Q-tips because I was an intelligent lad. So I hope that's not what's happening to her because it's pain that you can't stop. There's nothing. I remember being like, this one's getting worse and it's staying worse. I don't understand. And then they said, yeah, kid, you fucked up your ears. And it's basically just 3 days of hell until it like started to heal. So,
well, one of my earliest memories ever is I had such a bad ear infection that I had a fever, and the fever was bad enough that I was hallucinating. And I was between 3 and 4 years old because it was when we still lived in Manhattan. And I just remember that in my hallucination, there were all these little farmers, like people dressed up in like with like pitchforks and like, you know, women in dresses and bonnets and shit, just walking around the molding of all of the windows and doors, and they were coming to kill me. And that's one of my earliest memories.
You know what? That's not that crazy. I have a very similar image of like weird tiny little dudes, not specifically farmers. I don't know where farmers is coming from. That does seem like a you problem. But just like angry little people, maybe demonic, because, you know, I went to church and people were like, there's demons inside of you. Don't let them get you. And I'm like, ah. But like I'd see like these little circles of things on the ceiling when I couldn't get to sleep. And I'm just sitting there sharing a room with my brother like, I wonder if he can see these horrible things or if I'm just in my own little nightmare. Nope, just me. Okay.
Also shared a room with my sister at the time. And wow. Yeah. Maybe this is why we're friends.
Maybe this weird secret
this explains a lot.
trauma. Yeah. Oh, man.
So we've never discussed, but clearly forms you as a human being.
Yeah, I've been going through my whole life thinking, I don't need therapy. It's just the tiny little farmers on my ceiling that keep me sane.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Is Ellie the one that got you sick? Because that's a reason that we did not get some stuff out earlier in the month. True. Is she the one infecting you, or are you the vector?
I am now working from home, and she's in daycare with also snot monsters. So I'm going to go ahead and say it was her.
Yeah. Okay.
Hers was definitely the worst. Mine was the second, and Charles.
Yours seemed like it lasted forever. I feel like you were sick for 2 weeks.
I was sick for a long time, and honestly, like I am not sick anymore, which is great, but like I still have a little bit of a cough. Yeah. Like I just have a post-viral cough that like every once in a while. I
feel that. My friend had bronchitis a couple months ago, and whenever we talk, I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she's like, "I'm," and I'm like, "Jesus."
Oh God.
Yeah, it's really awful.
Yikes.
So yeah, shit has a long tail sometimes.
Yeah. I was doing an interview today, and I made it all the way through the end of the interview, and I was trying to like, you know, say, all right, like, you know, best of luck and all that shit. And I literally I basically hung up on him because I had a huge coughing fit. I was like, all right, bye. He was like literally saying, you know, when you accidentally hang up on someone when they're saying goodbye still, I did that to him, and I was like, and then I just immediately started coughing.
Yeah, no, I've definitely done that with some of my work calls where every once in a while I'm like, there's either a sneeze or a fart coming, and I'm not prepared to have that be the sign off. So I'll just take the awkward ending there.
Yeah.
Man, it is. I will say that being tired has kind of led me to a cozy vibe tonight, though. This is one time where I sort of bypassed the crankiness. I did get like a 15-minute power nap in before the YouTube video I accidentally fell asleep to, switched to an extremely loud advertisement and woke me up.
That's the worst.
So, oops. But so I'm feeling kind of cozy. Helped by the fact that I have been playing the absolute shit out of God of War on my Steam Deck.
Oh, nice.
Man, I know this game
is.
I know this game is from 2018. This game is incredible. Yeah. It's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Everything about it kicks ass.
Yeah.
I mean, Souls-like games are real hit and miss for me, and this has just enough of that combat style inside of a more accessible adventure game. So I cranked up the difficulty. So like the bosses are like legitimately challenging, but I'm also just having a blast. It has such a strong sense of pacing all the way through. Every time I'm like, oh, this is the end of the game. Nope, there's so much more dope shit happening. Nice. And there's never a point where I'm like, I'm sick of what I'm doing. I'm always That's like, awesome. I'm having fun, and then it just shows me something more fun. I get the hype for God of War Ragnarok, y'all. This game kicks so much butt. It's wonderful.
Yeah. That was a game that I watched Charles play a lot of.
Yeah. And I'm like, I put a lot of time into it too. It has become the thing that I do in my spare time pretty consistently for like the last 2 weeks. Nice. And I'm usually such a freaking snob for video and audio quality, but I'm playing it on the small, like 7.5 inch 720p screen out of like the built-in speakers. I refuse to find wired headphones.
Yeah.
So I just hear like, you know, you have the deep grumbly voice going, boy, the whole time, but coming through my speakers, it's like, boy, and it's just like all crackly. But I don't know, it still slaps. When I see the giant fucking world serpent come at me, it's still like jaw-dropping, like, that's a big snake.
When you come to visit, you should just load it up on my TV.
Yeah, because you have it on the PS5, and I'm gonna...
Well, yeah. We had it on the PS4, but I don't know if
it'll play on the PS5. Okay, cool. It will. So I'll check that out, faux show.
Yeah.
I also feel like, I don't know how much of a technophile Charles is, but I know vaguely how much of a nerd he is, and I feel like if I hand him the Steam Deck, neither of us will hear from him for about 48 hours. So I don't think it would be that hard to co-opt a PS5 for a little bit.
Yeah, probably not.
But also, yeah, I'm coming to visit you soon.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice. I hate to say this. I am going to have to bring my Xbox for multiple reasons, but it is not, I know it cannot and it will not occupy the majority of my time.
Okay.
It will see use maybe once, maybe twice while Ellie's asleep. I understand my primary duty is to help Ellie. All I heard in my mind was Adam from The Greatest Generation saying, "It is my duty to please that booty." And I'm like, there's no way I can say that right here. There's nothing where that will fly, but that is why I started laughing.
Yeah.
But I'm really pumped. I'm gonna be there for what, 4 or 5 days? I'm coming on Sunday, leaving on Thursday,
I think.
Yeah, I think that's what we landed on.
Down.
Originally, you were like, "Hey, could you stay not as long?" And then I said, "Okay." And then you're like, "Hey, could you stay a little longer?" And I'm like, "Yes, I can do that too."
Yeah, my mom was like, "Oh, great! I'll just like come down like much later on Thursday," and I was like, "That's not helpful."
It's not really what we were shooting for, Mom.
Whatever.
But it'll be very nice.
I'm excited about it. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like. Okay, so here, sorry, I feel like I'm talking a lot today, and I know that this is obviously like a 2-person experience, and if I have words to say, I should say them. But,
Laura,
like,
I'm looking at my waveform here. I have dominated this conversation.
Oh, is it just that I'm asleep?
Maybe. You may have slept through everything I said, and you were only awake for what I can see are the 2 minutes you were talking.
So my experience has been going really well, which is great, and I'm like doing well in it. I'm getting recognized for doing good work.
Your work from home stuff?
My work from home stuff. But there is less work than they anticipated because we're not hiring as many flexible seasonal employees as we were expecting, or at least not as quickly. So they sent a couple people back to their stores 2 weeks ago, and I got super nervous because I would like to stay in this experience for as long as I possibly can, which is hopefully through November. And so my, original plan was just to kind of try to like not really do as much work. But now I need to make sure that I am like doing enough that they're not going to be like, well, she's expendable. But I think I will be able to do that by like the flexibility is still there. So I can still get up in the morning and do like an hour and a half of work in the morning, which is good. Like before Ellie gets up, before anyone else is awake, and then do my interviews during the day. And then if I need to pick up like an hour or two, after bedtime, I can do that. So I'm trying to make sure that it is not all just you watching Ellie for 8 hours a day.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, it'll definitely be a learning curve for me, just in like, I usually babysit for several hours at a time and not several days at a time. So any breaks that are in there are going to be just like so appreciated.
Yeah, we'll definitely do our best.
Yeah. I will say this, my work schedule is usually quieter in the mornings and then busier in the afternoons. So I don't know if that'll help you balance stuff out during the day, but that's just how my stuff usually shakes out. Except today, where once again, I was told our project managers don't know what they're doing. Can you do this? And I say, I don't get paid as much as a project manager, so I'm only going to do a little bit of it. Yeah. I really have my eye very close on like what all these contracts are saying, because I'm like, the second I start stepping into project manager work territory, I'm going to be like, you're going to pay me twice as much as normal for this, right? You're like, that's what you're going to do? Okay. Yeah. It's bananas, but I think we'll figure it out. You and I have always managed to work things out.
It'll be good.
Yeah. It's honestly, it'll be nice to shake things up a bit. I'm back in the saddle of doing a lot of work, like on editing and stuff. So I could probably just sideload a few production apps like into my work MacBook, and then if I like need to do editing or shit, do it on there. There's no way I'm bringing a workstation, but I can like I used to produce stuff on a MacBook Air. There's about to be a show on AMC Plus where decent chunks of it were done on my MacBook Air from 2013.
That's amazing. Also, speaking of, I have been using my work laptop, obviously. Much more because I am on it, 8 hours a day or whatever. And it is a 2015. I don't remember, but it's got like the flat keys, right? Like the flat keyboard.
The butterfly keyboards. Apple's had a great time with that.
I just started typing on my old ass 2013 MacBook Pro, and I was like, this is like butter. It felt so good to type on.
Yeah, I got really used to the
We have been on here for
keys.
17 minutes and I'm at 85% battery from 100, so there is that. But
that's pretty. That's an impressively bad battery you got there, my friend.
It's an old computer.
Yeah, but no, I remember like at this point, Apple has abandoned the butterfly keys entirely because of how much they failed. But yeah, I also got super used to them, and I was like, this is fine. It almost felt like a solid state key, but like I didn't mind that. I use trackpads all the time. Like I prefer trackpads to mice, Apple trackpads specifically. But yeah, man, it was one of those things where like I'm usually pretty okay with embracing something new and enjoying it. And then as soon as I go back, I'm like, all the new shit sucks. This keyboard's amazing. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Like,
it felt so, it was like quiet and soft in a way that like like the tactile experience was just like, yeah, it literally felt like butter. Like I was like,
the tactile experience. It is. No, it is
really good.
It is very good. All the new MacBooks went back to the older scissor mechanisms. Apple basically did a mulligan on the shit that they pulled from like 2016 to 2020.
They were like, whoops.
Whoopsie. Yeah. So that's, I mean, I'm guessing you have to give that laptop back once your experience is over.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, oh,
that's
a big sad.
I mean, it's fine. If I want an actual laptop for myself, it's not going to be that one, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. They got new ones now, new pretty ones.
There are new pretty ones.
Oh, the new ones are so pretty. I have no need for them, so I won't buy them.
That's the thing.
But they are pretty.
This is the only thing I've done. Like, I texted, I was about to say Colin because I'm talking to a podcast, but I texted you before. It's me, Colin. That I haven't turned my computer on in a long time and that I was nervous. Genuinely, it was in March. I last used my computer in March.
That's a while ago. That'll do it. That's, I mean, listen, I went through phases until I started actively producing things. I didn't really touch my Mac. I was iPad all day. Yeah. iPad and iPhone was all I did. Like, the only reason I have a Mac is for production stuff at this point. And I have I got a Mac Studio, and it's pretty nice. I wish I could do more stuff on my iPad. The only reason I can't is because the apps I use, people don't build them for iPad. Yeah. But that's fine.
Sorry, I was just doing my insulin here.
That's fine. I thought I was going to burp. And I did a little bit, but not as much as I expected.
You did a little bit more than... It was more than a little bit. That was a pretty decent burp.
We have different standards, and I won't judge you for that. I'm used to... The other day, I was going to this might get edited out, but I was going to the bathroom, and I let loose. It was over 4 seconds, like to the point... It was one of those burps where halfway through the burp, I'm like, this is still happening? And it was all loud, too. I don't know what happened, but it was just a lot. Yeah. But, yeah, I felt like I had more to say, but really it's just, I've got plans to visit you. After that, I'm going to swing down to visit one of my friends in Philly. I've not met their child yet, so I'm going to visit them for like a day. I've never been to Philly, so I'll do that. And then I'm going to go home. Oh, that's what I'm working on is I got all this game capture stuff because I always kind of want to have the option to record stuff in HDMI. And also, I've always been like, I like playing video games. I should do something with that. So I started toying around with the idea of streaming Destiny stuff. And I have not committed to anything yet because I've just been testing it and playing with my friends. But one of my friends was like, hey, this is a good idea. You should do this. I know how to mod. Let's do this. I'm like, all right, that's points in that column. So last night I streamed us doing some stuff and like didn't tell anybody because again, I'm like literally testing out my volume levels and trying to make sure it functionally works. And like 11 people were watching and I'm like, okay. And I it's a thing that I have no confidence in. I just kind of want to do it as an experiment. You remember the episode Tapestry of Star Trek Next Gen where Picard dies and Q's like, hey, we're going to do It's a Wonderful Life. And then he gives Picard a chance to live his life better, but then Picard doesn't like how it turned out. There was something in that episode that at a very young age when I watched it, it like struck me to my core, which was like in Picard's alternate life, it was always like, hey man, you're good at a lot of shit. You just don't try hard enough. Bye. You wear a blue shirt now, dickhead. and that spoke to me because I was always like, I'm also good at things, but I also settle for good enough a lot. So faced with the mortal fear that I'll never get to work on another TV show again, these last 2 months I've been like, I need to do absolutely everything.
Good.
So I'm trying. I'm shooting out applications left and right. I cold pitched a client on a thing that is so far looking like it might turn out pretty well. News on that if it does turn out pretty well or doesn't.
Very excited, yes.
And the streaming thing, I was just like, fuck it, let's see how this goes. And I'm gonna just dick around with that, making some more animation stuff. I tried to make a new animation workflow that would save me time, and instead it like tripled the amount of time that it took because I fucked something up. I made a behind the scenes video for the Dice Populi patrons, but like, dude, I animated all this shit and nobody had eyes.
No.
Everyone's eyes, it was all blank faces with no eyes, and I'm like, fuck. I had to reanimate the eyes separately, and then when that didn't work, I had to go in and manually keyframe the eyes over their face, so there are people sitting there with their eyes like, oh, and it looks it's so fucking obnoxious, but so I'm just trying stuff. I'm trying to stay busy and do stuff, but now I'm sleepy.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm very sleepy.
Well, I've decided that I am terrified about having to go back to the store and drop Ellie off at 7:30 in the morning and somehow pick her up at 5:30 and make food and not want to die all the time. So I'm working on it.
Have you considered looking for, or have you begun looking for other work from home options, remote work options, either inside or outside of Apple?
I have. It's I have kind of like a vague vague medium term plan that will over the next year and a half probably I will work on getting out of the store.
That's good. I know that my gig at my company does not pay what you need to support your frequently wet home and frequently tired kid.
What?
I didn't expect to say frequently wet home. I caught myself off guard with that one.
I mean, my basement does flood every once in a while.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of. I also have pretty bad tinnitus in my right ear, so I usually, right now, I have rain sounds pumping through my ears so that I don't hear you and... So I heard the rain and I was like, oh yeah, Laura's home. Yeah. Laura's home gets wet a lot. That's fun. It's a stupid association I have. Sorry to dig up your most stressful moments of the year in this very flippant way, but I might have one or two things on my radar that I could potentially point you at. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I have to figure out if it's attainable because it depends on a few things. But I'll keep you in mind. I'll do what I can to help you out.
I'm a pretty good employee. I do pretty good stuff.
You're definitely. I feel very comfortable saying this. You are just a way fucking better employee, top to bottom, than I am. No question. I can't think of a single job, like 9 to 5 job, that I would do better than you. I'm not saying I'm not capable of it. But again, I did tell you that Star Trek gave me like an identity crisis at 13 because even then I knew how fucking lazy I was. But man, you are a very diligent worker and you care very much about doing a good job. And I'm over here like, stop calling me so I can level up my Leviathan accent God of War, please. Please. Yeah. So
I don't know, man. If you get me in a work from home position, I might slowly slide off that cliff though.
Well, I mean, you have been very dedicated about your current thing. And the thing is, you don't even have anything to like work up to. This is a limited time thing. That's it. But you are still trying to do a good job.
Right. Well, there's multiple reasons for that. Part of it is that I want to stay for as long as they will keep me, which is if I do a bad job, they will send me back to the store because they won't need me.
That's true. Yep.
The other side of it is that recruiting for Apple is definitely a good thing to have on a resume. And if I do a good job, there are a couple things. One, I might be able to do this experience again next year because it is every year and people do repeat. And if I do a good job, that means that I could spend another 6 months soon, which would be great. The second is that there are contract work doing this. So there aren't jobs, necessarily standard positions, but there are contracts. And so if that is something that comes up, I would definitely consider applying to be a contract employee for Apple, which means that I'd work like 3 to 6 months and then, or up to a year, I think, and then have to take 3 months off and then reapply. But I think depending on the pay, that is something that if it pays significantly more, then taking 3 months off is really not that much sweat off my back. And also then I'd have 3 months off.
That's true.
Which would be dope.
That's true. Yeah.
So, and then the third of it is that, like, ultimately, I think there are a lot of recruiting positions at home, and so if I do a good job, then I could probably get one of those.
Yeah.
And then just have that.
Yeah. I mean, everything else about our economy's in the toilet right now, but a lot of people have jobs, so a lot of people hiring.
Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
That's very exciting, and that's smart to try to build that resume. And again, just points in the column of, you're just a way better worker than I am. I'm over here like, okay, I have this kind of shitty, boring corporate job, and I could climb the ladder and make a lot more money, or I could email someone I've talked to twice about doing even more podcasts, maybe for no money, in the nebulous hope that this will advance my career in some way. Yeah, I mean, if anything comes up and I have one or two things in my mind that might work for you, I will pass them along. But
I appreciate that.
I believe it. You are a very good worker, and I just want to fucking edit stuff and play games all the time. It's all I want to do, man. It's all I want to do. I went to Six Flags last week. Six Flags I hadn't been to before, so that was fun.
You were trying to get me to play hooky from work. I didn't do it. Yet another point.
Yes, you did. You did not do it. Because what happened was, we scheduled this thing, and Rebecca was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to go to an amusement park with some friends. I'm not Colin's age. And I was like, that's fair. I'll pay for your ticket if you go. And she said, all right, as long as I don't have to pay anything. And then like 2 days before the day, she was like, I'm going to have to work. I thought I could get out of it. I can't get out of it. So I just started asking people to go to the amusement park, and go figure, Laura taking a day off work, leaving her child to childcare and driving round trip 5 hours to hang out in an amusement park in 95-degree weather with 2 people she knows and 2 she doesn't, was not a tempting offer.
No,
not at all. No, so I just ended up eating the cost of the ticket, which is fine. It's fine, but like, so the
But did
Six
you have
Flags,
fun?
I had a lot of fun. I thought
Good.
it was great. My feet still hurt a little bit because I got blisters, and those are almost gone.
I hate blisters.
Yeah, no, they're not fun, but it was very nice. The Six Flags near me is called The Great Escape, and that's the upstate New York one. I've been there a bajillion times over the years, and the park is fine. So I was like, I want to go to a not that one, Six Flags, please. I was trying to go to the one in Jersey, but it's South Jersey, so it's kind of a hike, and like a little too much of a drive for like a fun day trip. But they do have King Dakar, which is like the fastest, tallest roller coaster. And I'm a big scaredy pussy boy, but I want to ride that ride and shit my pants.
I mean, the Wednesday you're here, you will be Ellie free because Charles is home.
I could potentially request the day off in advance. Yeah. I don't know, but I did learn something recently that could kill this whole thing, and that is my good dear friend Laura does not like to play hooky to go to Six Flags.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't go with you. It would be just you. I would not be coming with you. I'm so sorry.
Oh man, you gave me so much hope for a second. But so we went to the New England one, and the park itself is a little meh. The not as many small rides and attractions. The water park is smaller than the one at Great Escape, but they did have a lazy river.
Oh, I do love a lazy river.
Love me a lazy river. But what I will say for Six Flags New England compared to the Great Escape, the roller coasters kick ass.
Nice.
They are all way more intense than they look. Every single one scared me at least one point I wasn't expecting.
Nice.
And they were fantastic.
Good.
A couple notable things that you'll enjoy. One of the people I went with was our good dear friend Luke. And I was not going to share these facts until we got into an online like Xbox party, and then he started sharing these stories. So I'm like, I'm in the clear to do this. We get onto the Batman ride, and it's one of the rides where the harness is just like a solid plastic thing that you pull down from on top. Got those little metal handles that you hang on to, and I cling onto them for dear life because that's how I survive roller coasters. And we start pulling things down. Now, Luke is a big, strong fellow, but lately he has also become a big, strong, and also just big fellow, having gained some weight. And when he went to pull down the harness, it did not click. It did not go down enough. So he and our other friend, this is Brian. You know Brian, he was with us. But so he went to pull it down. This is a dude whose average curling dumbbells are about like 70 to 90 pounds. And he is like struggling to pull this thing down onto himself. And I have the little belt clip on the bottom and I'm pushing it up as hard as I can. We finally get it clicked in, and then we go on the ride, and he's like, I'm having trouble breathing, but he made it through the ride. And then we decided to go on the ride again. And this time we knew what we were in for, so 2 people held it down, and I clipped it nice and easy the second time. Most of the rest of the day was fine until we went on another one where it was a lap thing, which this roller coaster goes upside down. So just a lap thing is kind of freaky.
That's terrifying, yeah.
Didn't know that until I was on the ride, and I'm like, ooh, I'm not facing the way I thought I would. But that was one where he pulled it down and he got it to click. And then there was just this wonderful, delicious, embarrassing moment where you hear the ride's about to start, but then you hear the person say like, can you check this seat on this car, please?
Oh, no.
And we're looking around like, what's going on? And 2 attendants come up to Luke. Neither of them make eye contact. They're both like looking away from him. And they both like count down 3, 2, 1, and like shove it straight into his gut. And he's sitting there like, yeah, this was my fault.
No.
And then to make matters worse, for the first time I went on a roller coaster where the car spins, there were 2 seats on each side facing each other. And then the car that you're in spins like a teacup the whole time. We thought it was going to be like the kiddie coaster, but no, that one was pretty fucking creepy too. But I did fuck with Luke a bit because we were going up the chain lift and I'm facing backwards straight down at Luke. So I'm like uphill from him looking down. And for some reason, I think it's funny to just start going like, oh man, I hope this ride doesn't make me I got and like, I look like I'm going to throw up directly into his mouth. And for some reason, I think this is hilarious. And I keep doing it the whole ride. And then me and Brian, every time we spin, we're like, oh my God. And then Luke is like, guys, you guys need to stop. And he's like, guys, please, no. Knock it off. And then we get off the ride and I'm like, wow, that ride made me feel pretty sick. And Luke like, it wasn't the ride, asshole. It wasn't the ride that made me sick.
And definitely will not be going to Six Flags anytime soon. All of that sounds terrible.
Yeah, the rides themselves were fantastic. Those were just the bad moments we got to make fun of Luke.
Yeah.
It did lead to a tense moment between Rebecca and I, though, because for our birthdays, she wanted to go tubing on a river. She loves tubing on a river, which is weird that she would take me because I don't drink or smoke or do drugs or anything. So going on a river ride with me is literally just sitting in water for hours. Right? Yeah. Usually most people are like, oh, I'm gonna get fucking wasted the whole time. But no, just fucking clear ride down the river. And then I went on the fake lazy river at Six Flags and I came back to her and I'm like, yeah, I prefer fake lazy rivers to real ones. And she did not like that. She doesn't like that fact about me, Laura.
Yeah.
She's not a fan.
Well, I think to each their own river, you know?
Yeah. Which one would you pick?
I will say oh God.
If you had to spend an hour in a tube,
I would choose a
in
real
a river.
Yeah,
you'd choose a real river?
Yeah. But I do also love a lazy river. Yeah. Like it's not like I would go on a real river by a landslide. It's a fairly close. But I don't think that drinking and lazy rivering really sounds that much fun to me. I just want to like sit on a lazy river and just be tubed around and watch the sky go by and have, an hour of quiet time. Sounds great. Sounds so great.
Yeah.
The birds chirping,
Maybe when I go to Six Flags, you'll just dive into a river and wash your cares away.
Yeah.
It was very nice and relaxing, but there were just too many times where the river slowed down and we had to like get up and climb over the rocks. And when you get into a fake lazy river, you're moving at a nice fast pace, but it's just whatever. You're not going to get stuck anywhere.
That's true.
I don't know, man.
Lazy rivers are good.
Nah, they are.
I have no idea if I told you this. I can't remember when this happened in relation to the last time we did an actual recording, but we went to Pennsylvania a couple months ago. 6 weeks ago. I don't remember.
Was that May? I think it was in May.
Maybe.
You did something.
It was either the end of May or the very beginning of June.
It was you did something in the end of May. I remember that.
Charles and I went on vacation to Cape May, and then like a week later we went to Pennsylvania. Anyway,
okay.
We last minute realized that we were like 10 minutes away from Kalahari Water Park, indoor water park, and like Charles' sister and her husband and everything were all going to go. And Charles and I were going to stay back with Ellie and just like hang out at the house because like big indoor water park did not really seem that appealing.
Yeah.
But last minute we were like, I mean, what are we going to do? Like, there's not much that we can do with her. She's like bouncing off the walls. Like, we may as well just go to the water park. And we had so much fun. Ellie loved it. It was like her first experience with any sort of thing like that. Like, there were areas for little toddlers and like things that she could play with and like little fountains that were Ellie size, which was fun. And then Charles and I got to go on the lazy river together with just, and we brought Ellie with us. So it was like the three of us in a little family tube, just like going down the river, which was really fun.
That sounds so lovely.
It was just really nice. And then my brother-in-law and Charles and I went back when the kids went down to nap. Because like everybody, there was 3 other adults still at home. And so they all watched the 2 kids and then the 3 of us went. And like Charles and Jean went on a bunch of really like the more intense water rides. I went on like 2 or 3 of the like bigger scare rides or whatever. And then they wanted to go on one that I was not interested in. So I took myself to a little like grotto bar situation and like got a beer and sat by myself.
Like a swim up bar kind of deal?
It was a swim up bar. And it was just great. And I, never in a million years would have been like, yeah, Kalahari Water Park. I'd fuck with that.
Yeah.
But we're genuinely considering going back as a vacation because it's this huge resort with like a ton of restaurants, like surprisingly nice looking areas, a big arcade situation. The water park, is free with your stay if you stay there. And it was like legitimately fun. And it's an hour and a half away from here.
God, you're making me want to go, man.
I know. I was thinking like if you're taking a day off, like maybe pop up to Kalahari. You could literally do it in a day if you wanted to.
Probably, yeah. I gotta figure that out because that's been a big focus of me is trying to find stuff to like do. That was part of the motivation for going to Six Flags, which is like I gotta do stuff even though I forgot to plan for it.
Yeah, by the way, you also definitely told me that you were on vacation and so you'd come down, not that you would be also working. You're like, yeah, I got a bunch of time off. Yeah, you specifically said you had time off. I wouldn't make you go down if you're working, but now it's too late. You're committed.
Oh, yeah. No, it's fine. I did that last time. I was working I was thinking of taking a couple days off because I have the time off just to, like, make it easier on myself. So, like, maybe I'll just work, like, Monday, Tuesday, and I'll take off Wednesday, Thursday, like, something like that. But, no, I did not. I was not planning on burning a whole week because Rebecca and I are still trying to figure out if we want to take a trip this year. And it's been a tumultuous planning process because earlier in the year was like, hey, what if I paid for a big beach vacation? And for some fucking reason, she said no.
Okay.
And now she's like, why did I say no to a beach vacation? I'm like, yeah, you're fucking dumb, dude. What the hell is your problem? But now we're trying to think about other stuff to do. And 2 things are complicating this. One is that I don't know how to take vacations. It's never a thing I've like done. And I want to know how to do it. And every time like one of my travel buggy friends is like, oh yeah, let's plan a vacation. I'm like, cool, you just say what to do and I'll do it. And they're like, that's not how planning this works. You need to have input. I'm like, but I don't want to go anywhere or do anything.
Yeah.
Like if you take me somewhere, I can resign to your will, sign my soul over to you for a few days, and like I'll be fine with that. But I can't tell you where I want to go. Ever want to go is in a video game. I'm a useless person.
I mean,
so that's part
the thing.
of it.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, you should just go to Kalahari. Everything is right there. You won't have to go anywhere. It's just one place.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere.
Is it expensive?
I honestly don't remember. The water park admission was not exactly cheap, but I think it was definitely like worth it.
Day trip water, like I'm used to like, oh, it's a day trip, plunk down, whatever. But do you think, in your opinion, and if you try this, follow up with me on it, do you think like, are you excited to like maybe potentially spend a few days there straight on a vacay?
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be nice. I mean, to be fair, we spent a maximum of like 4 hours there. So it's a little hard to be like, definitely.
Fair.
And it was all in the water park. But they had like a ton of restaurants. There was a bunch of stuff going on. I think if the rooms were nice, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So the other part of this issue is that when I told Rebecca, like, hey, when you're in Cape Cod, I'm going to steal your car and I'm going to go visit Laura for several days. And then she was like, hey, Colin, you know what I noticed? I go and do things all the time and you have the place to yourself, but you never go anywhere and do anything. And I never have the place to myself.
That's true.
So what if you, Colin, decided to go do things when I wasn't already gone? So now I'm trying to consider, like, okay, what trips can I take or things can I do that do not involve Rebecca for at least a little bit of time? It was actually kind of awkward. We were driving home from Six Flags, and she was saying, like, you better not fucking get home before 8 o'clock. I was like, what? She's like, don't get home before 8. And then she texted the person that was driving with us, and then she was like, Rebecca told me not to get you home before 8? What's going on? And I'm trying to have fun with it, but I'm like, everybody thinks Rebecca and I are having an enormous fight right now. And we're not. It's fine. But she had a busy day and wanted some time alone before I fucking trundled my way upstairs and started screaming at my Xbox. I understand. Laura, I know I can be a handful. I understand why she wants time in the place without her children or her other child, which is me.
Yeah.
But basically, my time off, I have, I think, like 2 weeks left to spend on the year, something like that. So I'm just thinking, are Rebecca and I going to pull a trip together / what else do I want to do? And the answer is, I don't think I have any friends nearby that want to travel for me for 3 days at a fucking time. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no idea. So yeah, I'm just kicking around ideas.
What about to go to like Comic-Con or something?
I don't love conventions.
Yeah, that's fair.
I get pretty bored because if I'm going to go on a trip or something, I kinda,
okay. What about the Star Trek official cruise? I don't know when it's going next.
I could be persuaded.
I would definitely fuck with that. That sounds fun to me.
Then tell you what, after this year, I get like an extra week or 2 of vacation. Like all my benefits get cranked up. We could figure out some Star Trek the Cruise stuff. One little problem though. I feel like if you tell Charles, hey, I want to go on a Star Trek cruise, he'll be like, yeah, that's fine. Please don't take me. It's fine. I don't need to do that. But if I tell Rebecca I'm going on a cruise of any kind, she'll be like, oh, cool. Draws knife. Where's my ticket? So, but I mean, it would defeat the purpose of going on a trip without her, but it would definitely succeed at the purpose of going on a fucking Star Trek cruise.
Yeah, it sure would.
That would be a fun trip. I can keep my ears open for that. If you want to try to swing that next year, that would be very fun.
It would be fun.
I've also never been. Have you ever been on a cruise? I've never been on a cruise.
I have been on a cruise. The other thing is that like they do really skeeve me out, especially, post-COVID situation. Like after that all started, the idea of cruise got way less appealing.
Yes.
I had fun. It was very enjoyable. Charles has decided he never wants to go on another one, which I think is fair.
He strikes me as a person that would not enjoy that, which kind of makes me wonder if I'm also the kind of person that would not enjoy that, because Charles and I have some similarities.
Yeah. I mean, there is like, you could pay a lot extra to get pretty shitty internet, but like you're, in the middle of the ocean. There's no internet there. There are no games that you can play on the internet, at least. Of course, there are things you can download.
Yeah, I was about to say, you underestimate my power. I can always find a video game to play, but I mean, hey, I have the Steam Deck. I've been calling my Steam Deck my Game Boy lately, and it's, I don't know, it makes me happy to do that. I don't know why. I didn't even grow up with a Game Boy. I grew up with a Game Gear, and it looks more like a Game Gear than a Game Boy, but that's an interesting proposition. Anyway, this has all been meandering, but the point is I need to go places and I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe just start with like, go get yourself an Airbnb that seems really nice in a town that has like a coffee shop that you think you want to go outside to for a moment, and then just spend a couple days there.
You're saying like the Darwinian process of like going up onto the shore for like a second at a time for several generations.
Exactly.
Until I evolve lungs.
Yep.
Yeah. Social lungs. Colin doesn't have them.
But like, if you find a little, quaint town upstate or whatever. I guess you are upstate, downstate from you.
I am.
Sideways state. I don't know.
I'm pretty upstate,
pretty
and
upstate.
there ain't nothing quaint about it. It is not quaint. I'm trying not to say trashy, but I just did. Oops.
Tried not to, but failed.
Yeah, it's fine. So, I mean, yeah, I gotta figure something out. Hey, you live in definitely a much more quaint location than I. If I do take off that Wednesday and I have time during the day while you're doing work stuff, maybe I will find me a local coffee shop.
Yeah.
Or something. Who knows? I don't drink coffee, so.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that. But they have there's a really great like dinery cafe type place, which is actually part of the reason we moved to this town. 'Cause legit, like we stopped there. No, I'm dead serious. In 2019, we were on the way back from Yeah, we were on the way back from seeing Charles' mom, and like we were really hungry, and so we were driving through this town, and so we stopped for food, and like I think we just like mapped a good place, and it like was pretty highly rated, and it was so delicious. It was so good that like we were like we should look for. This is when we were thinking about renting or finding a new place to live. So we were like, we should look for places around here. And so we like started looking for rentals and everything, and it didn't work out. So we moved to Florham Park for a little while. But then when we were looking for houses again, we were like, we got married near there, and they had that really banging cafe.
You fucking bought a house because of a diner? Think about all the highs and lows, especially the lows that you've experienced owning this house. And I have a question. This is very important. How many times have you been back to that diner since you moved
all
there?
the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
Okay, then never mind. Yeah. It's worth it. I was
Charles
going to say if you haven't
takes
been
Ellie
back
to it
there.
like pretty much every Wednesday. He'll go to Blue Cafe with her, and they like do daddy-daughter, lunch.
Well, fuck. If he's going there on the Wednesday, then I can't go.
Yes, you can. You just pretend that you're not there. Also, they eat lunch at like exactly noon, so you just go one, you'll be fine.
Okay, that's fair. I was going to say that's exactly what would happen is we would drive there probably at the same time and then just walk to opposite ends of the restaurant and not regard each other at all. And then get back home and be like, wow, we had a great time at the diner together.
No, there's a lot of cute places around. Also, there's a place called. Do you have any interest in bubble tea? Is that something that appeals to you at all?
No.
It's unfortunate.
Coffee and tea both taste like dirt water to me. I will drink them if I have to, but I think of them like Robitussin. I don't want to drink it, but if I need a hit of caffeine, I'll take it.
There's such a wild statement in saying that tea tastes like dirt water when there's approximately 7,000 kinds of tea that are all very distinct.
Every tea I've had tastes either like dirt water or mint, and both suck.
Okay. Listen, I'm just going to say this as somebody who helped you start cooking in the beginning of your lifetime. There are teas that are great that are not mint or dirt water, I promise.
I am not voyeuristic enough to try every tea in the hopes that this is like the fucking Harry Potter movies, okay? There are eight Harry Potter movies.
You got to get through 7 of them before you're like,
movies. Exactly. I made it through the first movie, hated it. Second movie, hated it. Third movie, hated it a little less. Fourth movie, worst one yet. And every single movie, people are telling me, no, the next one's where it gets good. I'm not letting you Harry Potter me through 7,000 different kinds of tea, Laura.
How do you feel about apple cinnamon just in general?
I like apple jacks and I like apple pie. I think that covers the apple cinnamon spectrum.
All right. I got a really good apple cinnamon tea. I'll have you try when you're here.
Okay. I will try it.
Good.
I'll try it. I'm going to take this opportunity to wrap up the conversation though, because
I can't believe you're ending it on tea. Just kidding. I'm so tired. All I want to do is go sleep.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm going to free you from this prison because I am also tired, but there's a new episode of Better Call Saul. I need to watch it, and I don't want to start any later than 10 minutes ago, so I've already fucked up. I just can't. I can't be. I've hit the point in my life where staying up past 10 is an adventure. So I'm gonna go see if Rebecca is not too busy to watch Better Call Saul. No idea what she's doing. I told her I'd be recording, and usually when this happens, she forgets I exist, and then I pop in the room, and then she's like, "Oh wait, you want to do stuff with me? Sorry." So, who fucking knows what's gonna happen?
Well, good luck and have fun.
Thanks. I will, and I'm gonna see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, man. I'm excited.
Bam, bam. Yeah. One last question before we depart.
Oh, yeah.
I know Six Flags is off the table. Is there any other thing that you'd want to do during my visit that would be worth taking a day off?
It's a fascinating question.
We can come back to that later.
Let's come back to that. I also might be able to finagle my schedule where I could like take the afternoon off instead of a whole day. But enough. If I do that, I mean, I did kind of start the appeal of coming down here by talking about the zoo, which is still an option.
That's true. So maybe we'll be doing zoo round 2. We'll see.
Do zoo round 2.
That could be fun. All right, Laura, it's been really, really nice talking to you. I'm glad we got to sit down.
I'm really sorry that it took so long. It's been a bit of a shit show.
I'm usually like really on your ass about recordings. I think the fact that I haven't been tells you I'm also pretty tired and like not that worried about it. It's fine, dude. Cool. Well, I will catch up with you soon. Have a lovely evening.
You too.
All right. Good night, Laura. Talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Good night.
How You Doing is a Common Geeking Program production starring Laura Becker and Colin Ketchen, with editing and original music by Colin. You can learn all about the show at the website podfriend.pizza. It has everything you need to listen and to learn about the Podfriends themselves, and it's an easy place for new listeners to jump on board. If you enjoy the podcast, reviews and ratings are the best way to show it. Tell a friend, share your favorite episodes, and remember to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. We'll talk to you again the first Monday of every month, so be sure to stay in touch. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon.